One of my most frequently asked questions is how can I gain muscle and lose fat? Now, if you're not already, make sure you subscribe, smash this like button, share the video with a friend that's into fitness. So there's really important things to consider when it comes to this question, because usually it's like the new people that are kind of like, maybe they're getting introduced to the gym for the first time, or, something of that nature where they're new to the gym. And so I'm going to preface this by saying that whenever you're new to the gym, it's very easy to get results relatively quickly within the first 3 years, because you get what's called newbie gains, where you can theoretically gain muscle and lose fat because your body's just not adjusted and not used to any of this kind of, stimulation for your body. But for the majority of people that have been working out for at least 4 to 5 years, you have some sort of base. It's typically a lot harder to do both naturally, because whenever you're trying to gain muscle, you need to be in a caloric surplus, which means you need to be eating more food than what your body uses to maintain its body weight. So by definition, you need to gain weight to basically gain muscle. And whenever you want to lose weight and get ripped, typically you have to be in a caloric deficit, which means you need to eat less calories than what your body uses to maintain its body weight. And that's like a little bit of it's obviously contradictory, right? And so you always want to stick to one particular goal, in my opinion. And if you're somebody that's kind of like in the middle, it's always, in my opinion, better to probably lean gain. So you always want to, gain probably maybe half a pound to a pound per week. That way you're kind of mitigating how much fat you're gaining whenever you're trying to build muscle. And you always want to keep your training the same. So you always want to lift heavy, intense, and keep a log of the volume that you're giving your body. That's gonna never change depending on whatever you're doing, because it teaches your body to hold on to the muscle regardless of whatever you're giving it. And then vice versa. If you're going to try to lean out, then you want to be in a slight calorie deficit. Usually it's about 300 to 400 calories less every single day. And you can do this through either increasing your cardio, decreasing your food, or a mix of both, whatever you're more comfortable with. And you always want to gain, you always want to gain or lose about half a pound to a pound, because whenever you're doing more than that, if you're going to the downside, well, then you're probably going to be losing majority of the muscle. Now, obviously in the first couple of weeks, you're probably going to be losing about 2 to 3 pounds, but that's usually going to be water. And so once it kind of balances out, then you want to keep in that sweet spot of half a pound to a pound per week. Same thing whenever you're bulking, you're gonna have a little bit of an influx whenever you're initially starting the diet. But then once you kind of get into it, then you want to keep on that 0.5 to a pound per week. And again, it's not impossible to gain muscle and lose weight at the same time, but it's very, very unlikely unless you're in your first 3 years of lifting. And then every single year after that, it usually is just diminishing returns, because naturally your body can only accumulate so much muscle at a given time, right? And it's just a lot more emphasis that you need to place on tracking your workouts, progressively overloading, and obviously staying on top of your diet and eating according to your goals. So hope that content helps you. If you have any questions, I know that this is a very complex topic. So any questions you all have, just drop them in the comment section and I will answer them individually. My goal here is to give you guys the most amount of information and help you guys transform your bodies for the better. I will see y'all soon. Bye.